One shot in Minneapolis. By dawn, ICE, FBI, DEA, and DHS were moving with military precision across Minnesota, Wisconsin, Illinois, Iowa, Missouri, and Michigan. Not hype. This is the actual sequence investigators followed. We'll show how agents traced burner phones, falsified documents, and stash houses staffed through coercion and debt. And we'll confront the question you're already asking. How did a local enforcement action reveal a centralized narcotics structure tied to 24 gang-related deaths? Watch the map light up, step by step. Before we move on, please take a moment to subscribe to the channel and like the video. By 3:12 a.m., Minneapolis PD scanners were already buzzing with a single fatal shot. And within minutes, that pre-dawn encounter forced 4 federal agencies to sync their clocks. Not because of the headline, but because the identifiers coming off seized phones and a half-written delivery schedule didn't match any local crew profile on file. The call went out to the Fusion Center. Analysts pulled cell site data from towers skirting a row of short-term rentals and a budget hotel. They overlaid license plate hits from the previous 10 days and cross-referenced them against overdose spikes logged by county health. 3 clusters overlapped within 6 blocks. The first hour moved fast. DEA analysts flagged a set of numbers that had been dormant since a sweep 2 weeks earlier. Numbers they'd tagged for carrying cartel-side frequency patterns. That stood out. Routine immigration enforcement doesn't light up those signatures. The question turned from who fired to who's signaling, and why burners in Minneapolis were pinging on a band usually heard near the border. The Fusion cell started a tighter pull. Pen register traps went live on suspect lines. Tower dumps requested for 2 nodes circling suspected stash apartments, and a fresh scrape on hotel Wi-Fi max that matched devices booking one-night-only stays. License plate readers stitched the ground picture. 2 vans kept showing up. Same rental chain, swapped plates, looping between 3 hotel lots and a row of storage units off a frontage road. The times lined up with Zell bursts captured on one courier's phone. Field teams moved on those addresses. They found couriers sleeping on bare floors, starter mattresses still in plastic, passports locked in a desk by sponsors who controlled rides, shifts, and when to eat. WhatsApp pings set their mornings, and the money transfers set their nights. The turning point hit when a DHSICE lead, fake IDs printed through a storefront that advertised asylum paperwork, collided with a stack of FBI tip-line notes about cash drops outside a shuttered warehouse. Both threads named the same notary, the same P.O. box, and 2 supervisors who rotated cars every 48 hours. That's where the deconfliction system paid off. In most task forces, deconfliction prevents friendly interference. Here it revealed overlap, showing the same targets under immigration holds and narcotics files, with separate informants pointing at the same apartments. Tech filled the gaps humans couldn't. Pen registers captured call bursts that matched delivery routes on paper ledgers. Tower dumps placed a supervisor's phone at 3 overdose scenes within hours of each other. Bluetooth artifact scans tied a laptop last seen in a hotel room to a storage bay across town. Nothing felt ad hoc anymore. The data traced a rhythm. Pickups near dawn, relays by noon, cash movement at sundown. The map widened. Eau Claire lit up with the same burner cluster. Rockford pinged on a rental car contract connected to one of the vans. Benton Harbor added a second loop, matching a plate and a device ID already in the stack. None of those cities were in the first hour brief, but the same packet of forged employment papers surfaced in each place, and the same overseas remittance hub took the transfers. By mid-morning, the task force stopped talking local arrests. The pattern justified synchronized warrants, converging communications, a clean financial trail through remittance storefronts, and overdose patterns in 3 states met the standard for a broader scope. Supervisors drafted a 6-state package and pushed it for approval. The green lights came back faster than expected. Now the job shifted. With targets spread from Minneapolis to Michigan and a network awake and adjusting to missed check-ins, the problem became timing. how to hit dozens of doors within the same 90 seconds and keep every entry quiet until the last latch gave. At 4 a.m., teams across 6 states were staged and silent. Minnesota entries ticked first, then Wisconsin, Illinois, Iowa, Missouri, and Michigan in tight succession. Stacks set on stairwells and motel breezeways. Breachers took positions on hollow core doors and reinforced frames. Comms stayed clean, no cross-chatter, no last-second second-guessing. The goal was a 90-second window from first knock to the final push. Agents expected stash rooms, hand-to-hand ledgers, a few firearms, and mid-level runners. When the doors swung, the picture was uglier and more organized than the pre-raid brief suggested. Early hits found one-bedroom apartments lined with air mattresses and blackout curtains. Couriers sat awake next to backpacks, passports locked in a separate unit controlled by sponsors. Ledgers weren't casual notes. They tracked debt down to the meal and the ride, with penalties for late shifts that read like fines designed to keep people trapped. In a basement on Chicago's edge, agents opened a false wall and found ghost gun lowers and jigs, the parts wrapped in butcher paper. A bathroom vent hid baggies of blue tablets stamped to mimic pharmacy stock. Paint buckets stacked by a water heater held vacuum-sealed bundles of cash, the lids reseated to look untouched. The seizures came in waves, pill molds still warm, scales dusted with residue. A stack of forged employment packets sitting next to bus vouchers and one-way flights, each folder matched to a phone number scribbled on the cover. In a ranch house outside Des Moines, a kid's dresser doubled as a hide. The bottom panel held tight with magnets. 2 AR pistols lay inside it with 2 magazines taped together. Across town, another team pulled a closet rod that swung open to reveal a narrow crawl space with a duffel of fentanyl, a mechanical press, and a USB drive labeled only with initials. Data started to line up in real time. Ledgers in a Milwaukee townhouse matched wire transfers sent through the same remittance hubs that popped up in Minneapolis. Burner IDs repeated, traced back to 2 legal entities that handled payroll at a cluster of temp agencies and laundromats. The pattern of coercion held from site to site. Debt notes tied to recruitment fees, a reminder of family members abroad, and phones rotated on schedule to break links. Those methods mirrored models laid out in federal indictments against transnational smuggling rings, the kind that rely on fear and logistics rather than flashy violence to keep product moving. Violence still sat near the surface. Across the 73 locations, barricades waited behind couches, cameras watched down stairwells, and calls went out the moment first hinges flexed. 4 firefights erupted within the first day and a half. 2 agents went down with non-fatal wounds. 9 armed enforcers died after refusing to drop weapons. Armories weren't fantasy. Crates of ammunition and racks of rifles turned up behind paneled walls and inside detached garages. Drugs sat close to neighborhoods and schools, close enough that teams had to stage medics in the stacks in case the raids drew fire on residential blocks. A hotel room in Rockford gave the cleanest snapshot of the network's spine. A laptop recovered there mapped routes from the border to 5 Midwest hubs, with code words that matched on recovered phones and notes for splitting payments by percentage, paired with messages threatening defectors and a checklist for replacing couriers who fell behind. The scale came into focus.